And they're off. Day and Age began well, so did Broski along the inside. Mutaz moving right into contention, followed by Cuban Confusion. Then it's Tap It Dynasty in the blue racing in between rivals. They're followed by Catch the Breeze moving into the first turn. Wolf Away is 3 deep down at the rail. Midnight Strike in front of that pair, and Redial trails. Day and Age takes them around the first turn. Mutaz a clear-cut second. Broski on the rail in third. Then Tap It Dynasty 4 off the pace in fourth. They are followed by Cuban Confusion, who's tugging a bit, racing on the outside of Midnight Strike. 2 more lengths to Catch the Breeze. Redial is second to last, and 4 clear of Wolf Away. Day and Age, Mutaz come to the half-mile pole 1-2 with Broski 2 off them at the rail in third. Then Tap It Dynasty. Cuban Confusion is fifth, but now just 3 lengths off the lead. Catch the Breeze, Midnight Strike, 2 clear of Redial. Wolf Away at the back, around the far turn, and Mutaz starts to put the pressure on Day and Age. These two head and head, joined 3 wide by Cuban Confusion. Down at the rail comes Broski. Catch the Breeze is in the thick of it, swinging to the far outside for the drive, top of the lane. Day and Age, Mutaz on the inside. Broski's trying to find a spot, maybe one from the rail, and on the outside, Cuban Confusion. They're inside the 8th pole. Day and Age just keeps on going. Cuban Confusion on the outside, and Broski. Day and Age, Broski's trying to get to Day and Age. Here is the line. Photo finish. That is too close to call. Day and Age, and what is either a very lucky or unlucky Broski, who should have won this race for sure. Those two in a tight photo. They're off. Positivity began well. Self-Sufficient is rushing up on the outside. Here's Momad. Wasn't quick out of the gate, but is pretty fast now. And it's Self-Sufficient and Momad to duel to the half-mile pole. Smooth Cruising keeping pace with the top pair. Shady Tiger and Positivity, who broke on top, now trails. 4 lengths, we'll cover them. It's Self-Sufficient, pressed by Smooth Cruising, right up alongside second. At the rail, Momad in third. Shady Tiger has 3 to make up. Positivity outside of him. Less than 3 furlongs to run. It's Self-Sufficient leading the way. Pressed hard now by Smooth Cruising. Smooth Cruising takes over. Shady Tiger moves to engage. Positivity cranking it up on the extreme outside. Momad drops out there at the top of the stretch. Smooth Cruising at the rail. Self-Sufficient not done. He's fighting very bravely. And Positivity coming after the top pair now. Smooth Cruising or Positivity. Smooth Cruising 2-length lead. And Smooth Cruising very sharp in victory. Smooth Cruising wins. Positivity second. Self-Sufficient was third. And they're off. Havoc gets out of there very quickly with a host of pursuers in the opening furlong, including Golden Sunrise. And Golden Sunrise is now up to take the lead. Here's Stan from Malibu kicking through along the inside, and those two now go on with it. So it is Golden Sunrise and Stan from Malibu head and head for the lead. Just in behind them, Idiot's Gold is in third. Havoc now back to fourth. Carol's Comic is the gray, just in front of Harson, who's down at the rail. It's a gap of 4 to the next flight. Barsabas is racing on the inside of Halo Uncle, and then it's a big gap to Tamarando's Star. Approaching the quarter pole, and Golden Sunrise, the leader, opens up a length and a half. On the outside, Havoc reclaims second. Then Idiot's Gold is moving through along the inside. Carol's Comic is in fourth with a furlong left to go. At the rail, Idiot's Gold has now collared front running Golden Sunrise. Way out in the center of the track, Halo Uncle is coming, and Harson down on the inside as Carol's Comic continues his rally. Carol's Comic, Halo Uncle. Carol's Comic, Halo's Uncle. Carol's Comic held on. Barely. Halo Uncle just missed. Behind them, Idiot's Gold in a battle between Havoc and Harson. Renegade. And they're off. Smooth start. Midnight Mammoth sent out for All Mankind. And in between them, Eagle's Flight. Eagle's Flight is quicker than all, takes the lead. Midnight Mammoth now second for All Mankind and Arrow the Great. Juan Hernandez and Eagle's Flight. 7 furlongs to run. Opens up a length and a half on Midnight Mammoth. For All Mankind is tucked in along the inside, and Arrow the Great has 3 lengths to make up. They come to the 6 furlongs pull, and it is Eagle's Flight. Eagle's Flight in front, 3/4 of a length. Midnight Mammoth in those pink silks second. Arrow the Great for All Mankind. 5 furlongs out, and it's Eagle's Flight cruising along. A length and a half to the good of Midnight Mammoth. Then for All Mankind and Arrow the Great racing as a team past the half-mile pole. Eagle's Flight has been in charge since the gate opened. Midnight Mammoth takes a crack at him now. 3 furlongs to run. Eagle's Flight, Midnight Mammoth. Midnight Mammoth has his head in front as they go midway on the far turn. Eagle's Flight is asked to respond, but is now a neck back second. Just felt the crack of the whip as Midnight Mammoth is the one to beat at the quarter pole. Eagle's Flight at the rail in second. Then it's Arrow the Great and For All Mankind. They're coming to the 8th pole, and Midnight Mammoth has put away Eagle's Flight. Arrow the Great rallying down the center of the track, but Midnight Mammoth is well on his way to a convincing win. Midnight Mammoth, much the best, cruising by 5. Arrow the Great, Eagle's Flight, and For All Mankind. Buck. And they're off. And Sharp is attacked, breaks alertly. Fast Buck up close. Mucho Del Oro along at the rail with So Joe 1. Up and on to the main course. Charge for Gold also joins the party on the front end. So it's Sharp as attack, Charge for Gold. A length back to Mucho Del Oro in third. Fast Buck is 3 lengths off the lead today, followed by Elwood Blues. Go Joe 1 losing some ground. Dandyman Shines is racing in between horses, about 5 or 6 lengths off the lead. Outside of him, We're in Trouble. Very compact. Mucho Del Oro, Sharp as attack, stride for stride. Fast Buck and Kimura inching closer, 3 wide, 3 of them across the course. And Fast Buck up to cruise to the front with 1/4 mile to go. From the back of the field, We're in Trouble is unwinding. Here comes We're in Trouble after Fast Buck at the 8th pole. Dandyman Shines ups to the inside. They're in the final furlong, and Fast Buck has another gear. Spurts clear by 3. We're in Trouble trying to wear him down. Fast Buck, We're in Trouble. Fast Buck, We're in Trouble. Fast Buck, beautifully ridden to victory. We're in Trouble second. Photo for third between Elwood Blues and Dandyman Shines. Yamava Resort and Casino at San Manuel is your... They're in the gate. And they're off. Tyler Bass sends Agro right to the front aggressively. Petit Ange comes away in second. Mrazek's Old Dream up close. Be a Goldfish on the extreme outside, and Wild Texas Rose comes through now to take third. They're followed by My Ileana, 6 lengths off the lead. Coconut Girl is down at the rail. It's another 3 or so back to Union Heiress and Siempre Naman at the back of the field. So they swing on to the backstretch, and it is the favorite Agro leading by a neck. Petite Ange right up alongside the 2 favorites, squaring off immediately. 6 lengths back, Be a Goldfish is racing alone in third. Mrazek's Old Dream down at the rail, 4th. Then My Ileana, Coconut Girl, Union Heiress outside of her. Another 3 back to Wild Texas Rose and Siempre Naman. 3 furlongs out. Agro trying to edge away now. Puts a length and a half on Petite Ange, who's set down hard in second. It's been a dream trip for Be a Goldfish, trying to close in from third. At the rail, Mrazek's Old Dream is 4th as Agro, who's been ridden hard throughout, is responding to the urging at the top of the stretch. And Agro hugs the rail and opens up 5. Be a Goldfish moves into second. Siempre Naman, who was dead last, is closing nicely along the inside. Agro shortening stride a bit. The lead is 3, looking for the wire. Here's Be a Goldfish taking aim. Be a Goldfish coming at Agro. Agro, Be a Goldfish. The Goldfish got there. Agro was second. Siempre Naman third. Mrazek's Old Dream finished 4th. Wood Flyer. And they're off in the Royal Heroine. And Uncorked wins the break, immediately challenged by Hamwood Flyer, and she'll go right to the front. Mucho Macho Girl, Raw Ability comes through to their inside. Eternal Rain is a 4-wide 5th into the first turn. Then it's Tirupati. Sneaker 1 from the rail. Public Assembly is down on the inside, up to be a joint 4th and 5 lengths off the lead. In behind this group comes Venganza. Valence is second to last, and after hopping in the air at the start, Son of Hill is far back. Onto the backstretch, the pace lively for Hamwood Flyer, moving right along. 4-length lead on Uncorked, 2 tracks in second, and Raw Ability. Those 2 in good spots heading past the half-mile pole. Mucho Macho Girl is racing in 4th. Tirupati between rivals. And Public Assembly is down at the rail, has 7 lengths to make up into the far turn. Eternal Rain, Venganza, and Sneaker are right next to one another. 2 back to Valence and Son of Hill. They're coming to the quarter pole. Hamwood Flyer still there. Raw Ability guided off the rail to challenge in second, and Uncorked. Those 2 move as a team after front-running Hamwood Flyer, who's trying to dig in. Public Assembly, Yellow Cap, is trying to come 1 from the rail, and Son of Hill, who was so far back, is coming with an electrifying run. In the meantime, Public Assembly has spurted clear. A 3-length lead close to home. Public Assembly and Antonio Fresu to win the Royal Heroine. The Phil D'Amato Exacta completed with Son of Hill. In behind them, it was Sneaker and Venganza. All in. And they're off. Very even start and a clean one, too. Seize the Image is going straight to the front. Champagne Cami has good early foot, too. In the opening strides, Ufta is in between them, just is a close-up 4th. Motown Gal is 5th, 4 lengths off this battle. In behind them comes Twilight Empire. At the rail, Woodbine Way is next. Discrepancy is just outside of that pair. And Cholima, and it's a long way back to Lady Sermon. They go to the 3/8 pole, And they're battling up front. It's Champagne Cami with the upper hand. At the rail, Ufta is back to second. Just Is moves up, takes that second position as they come to the quarter pole. Then comes Motown Gal. Cholima is trying a very wide bid, making some headway. Inside of her comes Discrepancy, who now takes second there at the top of the stretch. And Champagne Cami has built up a 5-length lead. Discrepancy trying very hard and closing the gap just a touch. Just Is in third. It's Champagne Cami well clear. And Champagne Cami dusts them by almost 6 lengths. Discrepancy second, sees the image, finished with a flourish in third. And fourth went to Cholima. All in. And they're off. Kanani very quick away from the gate. Blame the Classic is up close in second. Brazenly racing between horses. It's a factor at the rail. Rodrigo Knows, Short Man, and Clouseau is at the back of the field. 6 lengths covers them into the first turn. And it's Kyle Frey and Kanani to set the terms, leading a length and a half. Blame the Classic is second. In the center of the course, Rodrigo Knows moves up now very willingly and comes after Kanani. They're followed by It's a Factor. Brazenly is 5 lengths off the lead. Short Man is 3 deep. And another 2 back to Clouseau, who's under a nice hold at the back of the field. Down the back stretch, Kanani confronted by Rodrigo Knows. Another 4 lengths back comes Blame the Classic, It's a Factor, Brazenly, and Short Man. And still at the back, now 3 behind that group is Clouseau. They move into the far turn, and it's Kanani who's been there every step of the way. Rodrigo Knows comes back for more again in second. Now Brazenly takes third. He's coming after the top pair. At the rail, It's a Factor losing a little bit of ground. He has 4 lengths to make up with a quarter of a mile to go. Clouseau is starting to get going. He's going to have to find some way through traffic. On the outside comes Short Man. There's an 1/8 of a mile to go. Rodrigo Knows takes the lead. Clouseau is starting to come, 1 from the outside. Brazenly is just outside of him. Here's Clouseau taking off. He's been traveling beautifully throughout, and he'll blow them away through the stretch. It will be Clouseau and Hector Berrios. Brazenly completes the exacta. Photo Rodrigo Knows and Kanani. Throwing his head around, rider is off. Number 2, Valentine's Candy, about to climb back aboard. Trying to calm him down. And they're off. Valentine's Candy bounces out. So does Asmodeus. And Asmodeus, who was pounded down to 6-5 in the last minute, has taken over and opens up. Valentine's Candy on the inside second. And Tiger's Strength is up and on the pace too. In behind them, Battle Cruiser, Can You Hear Me Knockin', is racing in 5th. Battle Cruiser is now back to that spot. It's another 3 lengths back to Pete's Old Fashioned. Big Splash, a length and a half clear of White Mountain. Top Gun Classic, and it's a distance. Big Splash trails. Asmodeus has made it over to the inside and leads the way by a length and a half to Tiger Strength in second. Then Valentine's Candy third. Can You Hear Me Knockin'? 4 off the pace in fourth. Another 4 back to Battle Cruiser in the green. Here's Mighty Kai making some headway along the inside of Pete's Old Fashioned. Another 2 back to White Mountain. Top Gun Classic. Big Splash wide and last. Asmodeus goes to the 3/8 pole. Leads the way by 3 lengths now as Valentine's Candy moves into second. Tiger Strength dropping out of it. In between horses comes Mighty Kai with Battle Cruiser outside of him. White Mountain is hugging the rail while making some headway, 7 lengths off the lead with a quarter of a mile to go. Pete's Old Fashioned opts to go very wide. Behind him, Top Gun Classic. It's Asmodeus with an 1/8 of a mile to go in a 3-length lead, trying to finish it up. On the inside, White Mountain continues to make good headway, and White Mountain angles off the rail to take a crack at Asmodeus, but Asmodeus keeps going. Asmodeus 3-length lead. White Mountain can't get him. Asmodeus and Anton Georgi all the way. They score by 2. White Mountain finished second. Mighty Kai third in front of Pete's Old Fashioned. Classic Margarita, made with Don Julio Blanco. Por amor. Enjoy responsibly. We're in the gate. And they're off. Naturally Blonde gets the first call out of the gate. Here's Godavari flashing sharp early speed to come and challenge second. Then Clubhouse Cutie third, and Sassafran is fourth, 4 lengths off the lead. Big City Miss moves through and takes that 4 spot. Another 4 back to Wind Speed, who's moving up between rivals. Miss Mrazek is just outside of her. That pair followed by Tiz Sunrise. Then comes Zap the Command, who's at least a dozen lengths off the pace. It's another 3.5 or so to the trailers religiously, and French Moonlight is at the back. It's a strung out field that chases Naturally Blonde. Leading the way by 3/4 of a length, Godavri's in second. 2 more to Clubhouse Cutie, trying to join the fray, while 3 deep third. And behind them comes Sassafran and Wind Speed moving up on the outside of Big City Miss. They're at the top of the stretch, and Godavari runs right on by Naturally Blonde, who's out of gas. Out in the center of the course, Wind Speed is starting to finish very well. And here's Wind Speed coming after Godavari. Wind Speed, Godavari, or Wind Speed. Wind Speed gets up in a nice debut over Godavari second. Then it was Clubhouse Cutie third, followed by Sassafran, and then the battle for fifth is a photo.
The whole idea in horse racing is to invest a little bit and win a lot. That's true whether you're a horse player or a horse owner. And our seminar guest today, I'm thankful to say he's done both. He's a good friend of mine. His name, Bryan Carney. Bryan, happy Sunday. Welcome to the seminar.
Tom, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. And I love doing this, and I love the game.
You sure do love the game, and that's evidenced by what you've accomplished up to this point. You used to own the 100-to-1 across the street, the old honky-tonk karaoke bar. We missed that, but the memories are great, and certainly you have fond memories of it as well.
It was the fastest 21 years of my life, actually. But although I must say I was a little happy when the city wrote me a nice check for the property. So I always tell everybody I'll never lose in horse racing because I bought the bar with my money I had won in a pick six. So it ended up turning out to be a pretty good investment.
The 100-to-1 is long gone. Now the Le Meridian Hotel across the street sits on that property. But as Bryan said, he turned out okay with that investment. But he's also turned out really well with his investments in horse racing as well, as I mentioned, both as a horse owner and a horse player. Let's talk about your horse ownership side first, Bryan. You had a mare by the name of Demi-Goddess that you bought for $8,000. Now, she went on to win in excess of $150,000 throughout her racing career, which obviously is quite lucrative, but she's turned into a very productive mare. There are two foals of hers by Run Happy that have been very successful. Let's first talk about the first one, who is, I should say, the most recent one, who is Storm Cloud Rising. Storm Cloud Rising, Bryan, on Friday, ran in Keeneland's second race. It was just her second career start. Before you comment on that, let's watch the stretch run of Storm Cloud Rising dominate in Keeneland's maiden race on the second race on Friday.
Storm Cloud Rising coming to the eighth pole, pokes ahead in front. Mother of Pearl now second, 5 more legs. Grant Scretch and then Diva Calling fourth on the outside. Storm Cloud Rising past the 16th pole. Santos Anjur aboard. Storm Cloud Rising.
Bryan, as Storm Cloud Rising crosses the finish line, not only was that impressive, but as we continue to watch the gallop out, when she hits the clubhouse turn, she's the only horse in the picture. I mean, you were smiling when they hit the wire. There she is galloping out. You're still smiling after that performance.
I mean, if you don't get excited about that, you need to get out of the game. That's for sure.
Second career start, and obviously a lot of blue sky in front of her. You've got high expectations, and, she deserves it after that performance.
Well, Tom, I always love to run 2-year-olds early. I have read Dr. Bramlich's book, and he, believe it or not, encourages you to run your 2-year-olds early because they develop great bone structure, and that's when all their molecular changes are happening. So if they do have a little bit of an injury, they can recover from it quickly. And I try to make every first 2-year-old races, whether it was here at Santa Anita or in Kentucky. We did something unique with her, though. This year, I sent her to a fella to be broke, and she was broke in an arena.
In Kentucky.
In Kentucky.
Correct. You showed me pictures.
She never trained outside. And for 90 days, we basically jogged her and let her lightly, tiny little gallops, okay? She only came into a racetrack March 5th.
Wow.
Okay? In March
less than
5th,
2 months later.
Less than 2 months later. 2 weeks later, she had her first breeze in 40 seconds. Then she had a 39. Then she had a 38. Then we let her run a little bit. That's when we knew she could really, really run. But we thought 4.5 was going to be way too short. So we waited for the 5.5 grass race, but the race came off and it went back to 4.5. And we said, well, maybe, she got a little bit of experience because we had run her in the first 4.5, and she ran a really good third and ran against, she got Wesley Ward had a 1-2 shot that beat me less like a length, but the other horse won pretty nice. But I knew coming back the second time we were going to be very tough hombres.
And it all circles back to Demi-Goddess, that mare you bought in the field for $8,000, because Storm Cloud Rising has a full brother by the name of Prince of Power, who has earned you in excess of $175,000. He finished a great second at Churchill Downs to a really well-known horse by the name of Hall of Fame. He certainly has been a great accomplishment for Demi-Goddess and you as well.
Yes, he has. We always thought he was going to be a really nice horse, and you know what? We stuck to our guns. When I first bred to Run Happy, it was very hard to get to him, and then he cooled off a little bit, and everybody's like, "Oh, that guy's crazy. He bred to Run Happy 4 times. Oh my God!" And I sort of laugh now because
you got the last laugh.
I got the last laugh because I own the whole family, okay, and I own the mom, and I did breed her to Vacoma. I was fortunate enough. Larry Zabit told me he really liked a horse that was his babies were first coming. He told me that he thought Vacoma was going to be a really nice sire. I called Mark at Spendthrift and said, "Hey, is there any chance I can get into Vacoma?" He says, "Yeah, if you sign the papers in the next hour, I will get you in." And sure enough, I sold that horse to Coolmore for $85,000.
It's a beautiful game, Bryan.
Yeah, on a $13,000 stud fee. But I do want to give one shout out.
Please.
Charlie Stutz, he trained me for a very long time. But without Charlie Stutz letting me run crazy and run back, Demi Goddess ran 3 times in 1 month. Okay.
She ran 63 times in her career.
In her career. But as an early 2-year-old, I ran her 3 times in 1 month. Okay. The third race was the Landaluce. The reason they let me breed to Run Happy was because she ran third in the Landaluce.
You just never know, right? As
Right.
Charlie Whittingham once said, never talk bad about a horse till he or she's been dead for 10 years because you just don't know what's going to happen down the road.
So Charlie, believe me, without him letting me run in that race, because you got to work with the trainers and everything, and so I'm a little demanding when it comes to running early. But it all turned out for the best, and I even got a chance to talk to Mac, the Mattress Mac, yesterday. I had a nice conversation with him, and like I said, I have a full sister to the 3 of them that unfortunately she might have been the best one, but I let her. We worked her 7 times, which is way more than I would ever want to work one of my horses. And her last work, she broke her knee, and so. But I bred her.
She's a broodmare.
She's a broodmare now. She's a 3-year-old mare. She's in foal to Bolt the Oro, and the cross is terrific. So
Brian already told you at the beginning of the seminar he bought the 100-to-1 with his pick 6 proceedings. We've talked about his ownership side as well. He's also an avid Ragozin Sheets reader. Brian's going to tell us who he likes on today's outstanding 11-race card. But before he does any of that, let's toss the microphone over to track announcer Frank Mirabani and get the early changes on today's Sunday's card here at the Great Race Place.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the Great Race Place. The track is fast. The turf course rated as good. The rail on the turf will be out 10 feet today. Here are the early changes. Race 1, number 6, Mizion. Make the jockey Luis Saez. Humberto Rispoli will be a little bit late today. Race 2, scratch 7, 6 Hoof, 7 Hoof. In the third, number 5, Spun Not Stirred is 1 pound over. Race 4, 7, War Council, 4 pounds over. In the fifth, number 4, Father Delay, the jockey Edwin Maldonado. Scratch number 7, Joint Venture, the 11 draws in. Pick 6 starts with the 6. We have that middle pick 4 starting with the 5th, but the pick 6 starts with race 6, no changes. In the 7th, the Senorita, no changes. All turf pick 3, late pick 5 start with the 7th. In the 8th, scratch 5, a Kitten for Sue. 8, Care for Autism, 1 pound over. Race 9, program scratch of the 6, Coulaire. Late pick 3 starts with the 9th. Late double begins with race 10. Scratch 6, Runnin' Ute. Scratch 10, Wild Wager, the 11 draws in. Super High 5 offered in the 11th. Scratch 11, Miles Finch. Scratch 13, Going Nowhere. And scratch number 14, Outworker. $10 is 3 pounds over. There's a Super High 5 carryover of $8,273. Those are the early changes on this program. Enjoy your day at the Great Race Place. 57 minutes to post for race 1. Back to Quigley's Corner we go. His special guest today is the very happy, Run Happy, that is, Bryan Carney.
Welcome back. We're talking horses with horse owner and player Bryan Carney. It's our privilege to have him on the seminar today. We're going to go through all 11 races, kicking things off in race number 1, which of course begins the popular 50-cent early pick 5. The turf rails today are at 10 feet. As you can see on the screen, the turf course is listed as good. The main track is fast. The first race is going at the traditional 1.25 miles on the turf course for fillies and mares, allowance optional claiming types, non-winners of 1 other than. We've got a field of 7. The current betting choice at 7-5 is number 1, Kentucky Gal. Kentucky Gal last time out actually finished second to Public Assembly. I'm old enough to remember Public Assembly's next race, and so are you. She actually won yesterday's Grade 3 Royal Heroine, earning a Beyer speed figure of 88, certainly flattering this field in race number 1 because 5 of the 7 runners in race number 1 exit that race that Public Assembly won. Let's take a look at the replay back on March 30th. There's 2 runners I want you to focus on. Ironically, Kentucky Gal in this replay also drew post position number 1, so focus on her breaking from post position number 1. And number 7, Cheekiest, also performed in the race. In the replay we're about to watch, she's going to wear saddlecloth number 9. She's going to trail the field until they turn for home. She puts in an explosive late kick that I think looks better than what you see in the past performances. But you be the judge. Let's listen to Frank Miramati describe the action back on February 30th and pay attention to the fillies breaking from post positions number 1 and wearing saddlecloth number 9.
And they're off, and no surprises as Starts Now sprints right out of the gate. Paradise Lake has some good early foot too, and just behind them, Mizion is in third. They are followed by Kentucky Gal, who's down on the inside, and Public Assembly is fifth in between horses. She's right next to Esmeralda as they come by the stands the first time. Strutting is second to last, and Cheekiest at the back of the field. They come in front of us the first time round, and it is Relu Gutierrez and Starts Now, just trying to dole out that speed with Mizion keeping her honest in second, and Paradise Lake races in third. Public Assembly is in between horses, and Kentucky Gal is on the fence. Here's Strutting in the green colors, 6 lengths off the lead. She is followed by Esmeralda and another 2 back to Cheekiest. They move toward the backstretch, and it Starts Now, in front by 1.5 lengths. Umberto Rispoli and Mizion under a nice hold in second. Then comes Kentucky Gal, who's forwardly placed just 2 lengths off the pace in third. Paradise Lake is outside of her, and Public Assembly between those two. Strutting is next, 6 off the pace coming to the half-mile pole, followed by Esmeralda, and Cheekiest continues at the back. They move toward the far turn, Starts Now 1 length. Mizion still right there with her second. Kentucky Gal side by side with Paradise Lake. Public Assembly is still racing between those two, but has lost just about 1 length on them now as they start to sprint quickly around the far turn. Starts Now, Mizion. On the outside of them, Paradise Lake is in third. Kentucky Gal awaiting racing room. And then Public Assembly there at the top of the stretch. On the outside, here's Paradise Lake. And now Public Assembly is cut loose in a big way. She's drifting in a bit and going head and head with Paradise Lake. Paradise Lake, and on the outside, Public Assembly. Public Assembly erupts late and wins with style.
Brian, as we watch the gallop out and we see our friend Cheekiest close up the rail here and gallop out in front, Frank Miramati once again recognized class and ability because not only did Public Assembly win this non-winners of one race replay we just watched, but as I mentioned, came back to win the Grade 3 Royal Heroine yesterday. You like a runner coming out of this race, but you like a runner who was on the lead early.
Yes, I give the nod to the 2. I come in pattern wise on the Ragusons. She's moving back to her best form, and her best form wins today.
Sure.
So I have her on top. I have the 6 second, and that's the 2 horses I like in the race.
2 and 6 to kick things off on today's 11 race card in the first leg of the 50-cent early pick 5. So says our seminar guest, Bryan Carney. Bryan, let's turn the page. Take a look at race number 2. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs in the main track. Maiden claimers, $20,000 of the claiming tag. Scratch the 7. Still leaves us with a field of 8. Of course, race 2 also begins the 50-cent early pick 4. The Morning Line favorite, one of a few 3-year-olds in the field. Number 4, Unbreakable Trust from the John Sadler barn at 7-5. What say you about race 2?
Well, I think we can beat this heavy favorite with the number 6, Adebayo, or
That's right.
That's his name.
Named after a basketball player for the Miami Heat, Adebayo.
Oh, okay. Well, that horse's early races on Ragusons when it first ran as a younger horse would destroy this field. And now they're coming back off a long layoff, and Slam Dunk's pretty clever in how they place their horses, and I think that they have this horse on go. They got Diego on there, and I say she's gone.
Bryan, you know, when we look at the daily racing form and look at the buyer speed figures, the higher the number from a buyer speed figure standpoint, the better it is. But the Ragozins, it's the exact opposite. The lower the number, the better.
Correct. And she had some very low numbers as an early horse. And I just played that she'll get back to that. They're running for 20. They're going for – this is all the marbles today, so – they're going to get her eligible for starters and lots of good stuff.
Don't give away their whole strategy. They're in for 20. They don't want to be claimed, but nevertheless, you have to look at it from all angles.
Yeah, for sure.
Race number 3, we're back on the main track. 1 mile is the distance. It's a starter optional claiming race. We've got a field of 7. Morning line favorite number 2, Bad to the Bones, adding blinkers for trainer Richard Mandela. Also take note of the jockey number 4, Field of Magic. Luis Saez in town to ride. Good to see him, and he's a very talented jockey. He's going to ride our feature race a little bit later today. Give us your thoughts on race 3, Bryan.
Well, I was with Bavarotti the day that horse ran, and that is a much better race. They ran that horse for 50, and believe me, their hearts were in their throat, okay, because they thought somebody was going to take her or take him.
You're referring to number 4, Field of Magic.
Number 4, Field of Magic. And so I actually have it 4-7 myself. I think the 7's a decent long shot with him.
Bryan, you know, last time out, Field of Magic added blinkers, and obviously it improved him as well as the drop down in class. You know, with blinker changes and distance changes and everything like that, that's all incorporated into the sheet numbers, correct?
Yeah, it is. But, you know, until they do it, you sort of have to do a little bit of faith thinking that, you know, if they run a low number sprinting, they should be able to move forward when they go long. But it doesn't always work that way, but Good Magic's a really good sire, and I think he'll be able to handle the stretch out without any problem.
And just like any other form of handicapping, 2 people could be looking at the same sheet for a horse and come to 2 different conclusions. It's not a science, it's an art, the way you read the sheets.
Believe me, this Good Magic ran a 9 when he broke his maiden in a maiden 50. There's not many maiden 50s that run a 9 when they break their maiden. He technically could have won a straight maiden if they would have run him in a straight maiden.
And it's important to know that because you know basically based on the class designation what the par or average number is. The 9 blows that out of the water.
For sure. They were very lucky they didn't put a red tag on him.
Race number 4, we're sprinting 6 furlongs in the main track. This is a restricted maiden claiming race for an $8,000 tag. We've got a good field of 11. Number 3, Hoser Trappa is a first-time gelding. The morning line favorite is number 10, Far Overloaded, as well as number 5, Cangrejo. Very unusual to see 2 morning line favorites at the same price, but that's exactly what we have in race number 4. 11 ways you can go here, Bryan. Which way are you going and why?
I'm going with the 9. Gloria Haley is a very good trainer. And this is a horse that, again, had good numbers in its early career. Now coming back, she's already, dropped it down to 8,000. It's a 5-year-old horse. Not sure why he still has his
equipment.
He still has his equipment, but this horse is very, very live.
And Bryan, full disclosure, because you and I have obviously shared a lot of handicapping stories back and forth over the years. Maiden races are not your specialty. You prefer not to play maiden races simply because the horses haven't done what you want to see, which is win a race. That's why it's so unpredictable. And just you know your personal statistics. You don't do well in maiden races simply because of that.
Yeah, I for the most part, I refuse to play maiden races unless they all have numbers. But if there's more than one horse that doesn't have a number, if I like today,
meaning like a first-time starter,
right? Yeah. I don't play first-time starters. It's
a guessing game.
It's a guessing game to me. I'd like to find a race that I know all the numbers, I know all the patterns, and then instead of betting a little bit of money, we can bet a much bigger amount of money. I like to bet a couple bucks on a little race, but people sometimes come to races with me and they'll say, "God, you only bet $20 on that race?" I said, "Yeah, it's a maiden race. I just want to have something to cheer for." And then we get to a bigger race and they see the tickets and they go, "Oh, geez, that's a big difference." So it's just
you have to be able to bet with confidence.
Yes, for sure.
Quick question for you, Bryan. The Kentucky Derby now 6 days away. I don't want to put you on the spot, but generally speaking, looking at journalism sheet, do you think he deserves to be the favorite, and do you think he'll be one of the main contenders, or are you looking to beat him?
Boy, Michael McCarthy's a really good guy.
Excellent.
And he's got a really, really good horse.
When we handicap, though, it's nothing personal.
No, it ain't personal because he seems to find trouble in 5-horse fields. Okay, I don't know what the hell you're going to do with the 20-horse field. Okay, and I think
certain horses do find trouble every race. It's just the nature of
they're
the
just
beast.
trouble prone. And hey, he's a really good horse.
So that's a red flag for you.
That's a red flag for me. I think the trifecta may pay really big, but I actually think Bob Baffert has a very good chance. Not with the 1 horse, his number 4 horse, Rodriguez. That's a very, very good horse.
Won the Wood Memorial with Mike Smith in the saddle. Mike Smith will be back in the saddle, and you'll get a good price.
Oh, he's going to be a great price. But, he ran one of the fastest Woods in like many years. So people say, them New York horses have no chance. I say, I wouldn't say that. So I and with Bob, you know what? He's got that horse ready to run.
It's an enviable position, though, because there's no pressure on Bob, right? Expectations are low. A lot of people have discounted his horses, but he's the king of the Kentucky Derby.
Yeah, he's laying below the radar right now, and I think we're going to get richly rewarded with it.
Race number 5 on today's 11-race card begin the 50-cent middle pick for, and we kick off that wager going 1 mile on the main track. It's a starter allowance race with unusual conditions. This is for runners who have started for a claiming price of $32,000 or less, either last year or this year. Take note, the jockey at number 4, Father Delay, is Edwin Maldonado. Scratch the 7, Joint Venture. That means number 11, Touchdown Brown, does draw into the field. However, the morning line favorite from the Mark Latt barn is number 6, Clamp It at 7-2, indicating this is a wide open race. You agree, Brian?
Totally agree. I actually really like a horse in here.
They've got a lot of sheets and a lot of numbers, right?
Yeah. There's lots of numbers and lots of patterns. And the horse with the best pattern for me is the 8, Ready to Pounce. He's 8-1. Nice morning line. The second horse I like is the 6, but I would also, now that Touchdown Brown drew in, I would play an exacta 8-6, 8-11 box.
Fair enough. And Brian, one thing you've kind of amplified on the seminar up to this point is you like to see an improving pattern, right? You like to see horses moving forward. You don't necessarily care about the class that they're running in. You just want to see that they're making an improvement from a physical standpoint, from a speed figure standpoint, and maybe even from a mental standpoint.
No question. John the Wise, who taught me a lot about reading sheets 35 years ago, he said, in Ragusan world, an 8's an 8. Doesn't matter if they ran it in Podunk or they ran it at Santa Anita. Now, a lot of guys don't believe that, but I can tell you that's how I play. And
you've seen proof of that over the years.
Many times. Okay. And that's where you get those 20-1 shots, 30-1 shots. When people say, "Oh, that horse guy, he's got no class." Well, it's funny how they all of a sudden find class after they win a big race, and you say, "Boy, I got wrong. That horse got a lot of class." I'm like, "Oh yeah, right."
It's like the public handicappers in their comments saying, "Getting tested for class."
Yeah, exactly.
That's the last time out, maiden beat winners.
Yeah, exactly.
Race number 6 begins the $2 pick 6. We're sprinting 6.5 furlongs on the main track. This race is for Calbred, fillies, and mares, and allowance optional claiming types. Non-winners of one other than. The field sizes today are outstanding. Hats off to the racing office here at Santa Anita for putting together another tremendous 11-race card. In race 6, we've got a field of 9. Red Hot Jeff Mullins barn saddles the morning line favorite, number 2, Lady Gregory, at 6-5. You buying 6-5 in this one, Brian, or are you looking elsewhere?
I'm buying the 6-5.
Sometimes you got to take the short price, right?
We call it no level in Ragusan world.
What does that mean?
And she gets better every time, and her pattern is so strong. She just towers over these horses. And Bryan Carney is my second choice in there.
That would be number 4, No Cap.
Yeah, No Cap, and that's a 2 favorites. But sometimes I'll tell you one thing: if you're playing pick 3. Those are the only 2, in my opinion, you need to put in your ticket.
And that's important, right? You can basically handicap by eliminating other runners, no matter what your style of handicapping is. It's important not just to focus in on the winners, but also eliminate the non-contenders.
For sure. So I meant to say 2-4.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, 2-4, Bryan Carney's horse second, and Lady Gregory on top. Lady Gregory, if you have the racing form in front of you, has 28 career starts, 11 wins, 5 seconds, 4 thirds. She certainly has a nose for the finish line, that's for sure, Brian. Race number 7 is our Grade 3 Senorita Stakes. It's a feature race on today's card, and we are coming down the Hillside Turf Course. This race is for 3-year-old fillies. It also begins both the 50-cent late pick 5 as well as the $3 all turf pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. We've got a good field of 7. The Invader from South Florida, number 1, Chloe, is the 2-1 morning line favorite. This is a real good betting race, Brian. Who do you like and why?
I actually really like the 3 horse, Patty Gallagher's horse. Shillified. And underneath, I'm going to use the 2. And the long shot, if you're playing pick 3s and pick 4s, the 5, Polythene Pam is a lot better than the 30-1 says she is.
Why do you think she's a long shot? Like, in other words, what gives you confidence in backing her today?
Her long numbers were good, okay, and her short number was even better. So she's going to run better than her long numbers, and her long numbers make her competitive. And when she shortens back up, I think they're going to be surprised how hard she finishes.
20-1 on the morning line, ridden by Kyle Frey. Bryan Carney's long shot play of the day, number 5, Polythene Pam. Let's take a look at race number 8. Bryan begins the 50-cent late pick 4. We've got a field of 9 here after the scratch of number 5, A Kitten for Sue. We're sprinting 5.5 furlongs on the main track, I should say. This race is either for 3-year-old fillies or fillies and mares, which have never won 2 races lifetime. $16,000 of the claiming tag. Morning line favorite, number 3, Princess Daddy from the Hector Palma barn. Another good betting race here, Bryan. Who do you like?
I'm going to go with the 10. Adrian Escobedo is probably the most underrated gate rider that we have at Santa Anita.
You've seen him develop his career from the very beginning to now, and his improvement is very noticeable.
Yeah, well, I put him on his first winner, okay, when he came to California. And I had a horse that she couldn't break worth a damn, would be a zillion back. I put him on, and she wins at 20-1. Okay, and she blew out of that gate, and I'm sitting there going, how in the heck did you get her to come out of the gate? And he's got a little way that he does some things with him that he's
an
really
excellent gate rider.
Yeah.
Ryan Hansen puts him on a lot of speed
yes,
horses.
He's a really good gate rider. So, and he's great on long shots. He don't care what the odds are. He tries hard every time.
Feisty Matoli, 7-2 on the morning line in race number 8. That would be number 10. If she had a serious competitor in race 8, who would it be, Bryan?
Probably the 9, Liquid Spirit.
What do you like about her?
Close on numbers, a little close, but it's not the strongest race you're ever going to see. But Feisty Matoli, I think she's got a huge edge.
Race number 9 is 6 furlongs on the turf course for maiden special weights. Also, race 9 begins the $3 late pick 3 with a reduced 15% takeout. Program scratch of the 6 leaves us with a field of 9. A day to remember, number 3 is a first-time gelding, as is number 7, Power Play. The morning line favorite is the aforementioned A Day to Remember at 3-1. Before we get your thoughts on the race, Bryan, I wanted to show a workout for the first-time starter, number 2, Call Me Corey. This was back on April 13th. This is a team gate drill, and that's Call Me Corey on the inside, breaking from the gate. Now, what you're going to see is basically Call Me Corey widen. We talked about early speed from the Ryan Hansen barn. You can see the final time for this workout was 59-3. But the camera person is trying to keep all 3 runners that broke from the gate in focus and in the frame. But he or she is struggling with accomplishing that simply because Call Me Corey is so fast early. This is breathtaking speed. You can just tell by the speed of the camera that Call Me Corey is rolling along. Now, he's going to debut on turf today. And Ryan Hansen has actually done very well with first-time starters sprinting on the turf course. Specifically over the last 5 years, he's done it 27 times. He's had 4 winners. That's 15% winners for the Bryan Hansen barn with first-time sprinters on the turf course. Also, you'll remember his most recent winner sprinting on the turf course was FOMO Joe back at Del Mar on November 17th of last year. So this is one of the go-to moves for the Hansen barn, and we just saw Call Me Corey certainly has a lot of early speed, obviously, understandably getting tired here, but he's never really ran a race. He's one of many contenders in this field, Bryan, in race number 9. First-time starter. I know you're not going to pick him, but who do you like in race number 9?
I actually like the 7, Power Play with Richard Mandela, first-time Lasix. This horse, you know, he had a 25-1 shot the other day with
the Hall of Fame rider,
with the
Mike
Hall
Smith.
of Fame. I said, Richard, how the hell did you get 25-1 on that horse? I said, that horse was gorgeous down there, and he sort of chuckled like good old Richard does.
He's cagey, isn't he? He's not in the Hall of Fame for a reason.
Yeah, he's an amazing guy and a really good man.
He sure is. He's a great horseman, obviously. That doesn't need an introduction. And I'll say one thing about your top selection, who's 12-1, Bryan, in race number 9, Power Play. That race, too, back on December 1st, back at Del Mar, he actually made Brad Free's horses to watch list from the Daily Racing Form. Brad's comment specifically about Power Play's performance that afternoon was keen while rated early, galloped out in front, sneaky good effort. That's what Brad wrote about. The winner of that race came back to win $165,000 stakes race at Gulfstream Park in early February. So certainly Power Play, one of many contenders in the field. But we also see that you like number 10, Helicity from the Tim Yock Team Barn. Why do you like him?
Good sheet numbers. I think he paired, and he's definitely going to go left and make a move forward. But I think Richard's got him over the barrel with the 7. I think he's going to pay a great price, too.
Let's take a look at race number 10. We're back on the main track, 1 mile the distance. It's a restricted race for a $5,000 claiming tag. It also begins the $5 late daily double with a reduced 15% takeout. There are 2 scratches. Scratch the original morning line favorite, number 6, Running Ute, as well as number 10, Wild Wager. Take note that means number 11 does draw into the field. Number 9, Movie Time, is a first-time gelding. Likely a post-time favorite now will be number 7, Super Mazel from the Jeff Bondy barn. Jeff Bondy, if you haven't been paying attention, and I know you do, Brian, has been having a very sneaky good meet. Even I would even say a sneaky good 2025 so far this year. All of his runners are running well. If they're not winning, they're still finishing in the trifecta at big prices. There's 9 different ways you can go here, Brian. Which way are you going and why?
Well, unfortunately for Jeff, the Super Mazel bounces every time he runs a big race. So to me, he's going to continue his pattern that he showed over 3 different times he ran a big number. His next number was terrible.
And you can explain that though, Brian, simply in human terms, right? I mean, if we were to go out and suddenly do something,
yes,
Herculean that our bodies are not used to, our bodies are going to react, and we're going to unfortunately run probably slower the next time out.
Yeah, and he's it's a $5,000 race, claiming race, so they don't tend to string them together too many times, and that's why I went with Jeff's horse, the 1 horse, Brother O'Brien. I think he really has a huge edge in there, and we're going to get paid because I think they're going to bet the heck out of Jeff and Bondy's horse, and we're going to get a decent, because Contrary Chieftain is my second choice in there, and I think a 1-5 all super would pay pretty nice, because I think the 7 runs out of the money.
Number 1, Bryan O'Brien, Brian's top selection in race number 10. You can see if you have the racing form in front of you. 8 career starts on a fast main track, 3 wins and 3 seconds. I think they found the key to what Brother O'Brien's favorite surface is, and that's on the main track, which is what he is doing today. We close out the day, we close out the week in race number 11 with a $1 super high 5 carryover. $8,000 is in the pot already. We'll take a look at this field. We're going 1 mile on the turf course for Calbred Maiden Special Weights. Number 3, Johnny Whispers, is a first-time gelding, as is number 9, Milbo Baggins. Following runners will not compete. The original morning line favorite, number 11, Miles Finch, has been taken out of the race, as well as 2 of the also eligibles, number 13, Going Nowhere, and number 14, Outworker. The morning line favorite now likely to be probably number 7, Shapoval, from the aforementioned Jeff Mullins barn. We need a winner to close out the week, Brian. Who's it going to be?
Well, I don't like maiden races, but I'll tell you the 12's got great numbers, and the fact that he drew in is a big plus. And so I have it 12-2. But if the 12 had drawn inside, he would be the bankroll bet. Even though it's a maiden race, I would definitely bet a significant bet on him today.
Fair enough. 2 and 12 to close it out. And keep in mind, race number 11, as you can see on the screen, does have that super high 5 carryover, $8,000. Speaking of wagers, one more wager to talk about before we dismiss ourselves from the seminar. That would be the $1 coast-to-coast pick 5. Always pays well, as you can see today. $1 minimum, low 15% takeout. 5 race sequence, 3 of them from San Anita, but it begins with Gulfstream Park, race number 8 at 1:36 p.m. Pacific time, roughly an hour and 10 minutes from now. Brian, thanks so much for your time and insight today. Obviously, continued success with Storm Cloud Rising. Anxious to see where she runs in the future, not only with her, but with all your other runners. And of course, best of luck today.
Tom, thank you so much.
Brian,
it's just a pleasure. You're the best host in the world.
I wouldn't go that far, Brian. It's all about the guests, that's for sure. Thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a great afternoon and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for our national anthem. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Santa Anita Park, the great race place, the changes and track conditions brought to you by John Deere. We are fast for the main track, good for the turf, rail on the turf at 10 feet. In the first, number 6, Mizion. The jockey is Luis Saez. In race 2, scratch 7, 6 hoof, 7 hoof. Race 3, number 5, Spun Not Stirred, 1 over. Race 4, 7, War Council, 4 pounds overweight. There's a middle pick 4 that starts with the 5th. Scratch number 7, Joint Venture. Note that 4, Father Delay, now ridden by Edwin Maldonado. 11 draws in. Pick 6 starts with the 6th. No changes. 7th, the Senorita. Changes. All turf pick 3, late pick 5 starting. 8th race, scratch 5, A Kitten for Sue. Note that 8, Care for Autism, 1 over. 9th race, scratch 6, Coulair. Note that 7, Power Play is 1 pound over. In the 10th, scratch 6, Runnin' Ute. Scratch 10, Wild Wager, the 11 runs. And in the 11th, there is a Super High Five carryover, $8,273. 10, Harbor Code, 3 over. Scratch 11, Miles Finch. Scratch 13, Going Nowhere. Scratch 14, Outworker, the 12 runs. Enjoy your day at Santa Anita Park, where we are, of course, going to be open next Saturday for the Kentucky Derby. Simulcasting will open early as well. And every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, it's the Coast to Coast Pick 5. Starts today at 1:36, just about an hour with Gulfstream's 8th. They'll be at the gate for the opener here in 26 minutes. Good luck and enjoy your afternoon.
Be a smarter better with First TV, the best horses. With thousands of exclusive morning workouts. All at your fingertips and delivered right into your inbox. Everything you need to be informed. Be smart. Bet smart. With First TV.
16 minutes to post for the opener. On behalf of everyone here at First Racing, we'd like to welcome you to a Sunday here at beautiful Santa Ana Park. Hi, everybody. Peter Lurie alongside my partner in black, Miss Zoe Cadman. Zoe, we've got ourselves a nice 11-race card. I'll tell you, it's contentious. It's not an easy card, but that usually means good prices.
Yeah, we should have some good prices with that throughout the day because it was very, very hard to handicap. Main track is listed as fast. The turf course is listed as good. You mentioned we have 11 races. There are some changes throughout the day. Rispoli is on his way back right now from Louisville. He did work journalism, the Kentucky Derby favorite this morning. Horse looked terrific out there for trainer Michael McCarthy. He's just going to ride the stake this afternoon, so keep abreast of the rider changes throughout the remainder of the card.
All right. Well, we want to get right to it. This first race, already 131,000 in the pool. We've got a work courtesy of partners at First TV. Concerns the one-horse Kentucky Gal for trainer Phil D'Amato.
I think we're going to look at the 5 Tiara Queen for trainer Paddy Gallagher. Gets a 5-pound apprentice aboard today. And this was a really, really sharp work for her. Serafin Carmona will ride her. And you can just see the turfy action there, Pete. But she's just zinging along in 47-3. I have a funny feeling with this filly not actually getting a stateside win yet, that with Serafin on her with the weight off, we might get a bit of a send for this 4-year-old filly by Kingman. She's never run 1.25 miles. Most of these are actually all coming out of the March 30th race. 5 of the 7 in this field are coming out of the same race, including the favorite Kentucky Gal. But this kind of a race that's devoid of any major speed in here. So I have a sneaky feeling that Tiara Queen might be a little bit closer than she's been.
I disagree. I think the 2-horse starts now. I think it's their lead if they want it. This horse was on the lead last time out. Granted, they got beat 2.5 at the end of that 1.25 miles, but the horse was definitely out.
Oh, I'm with you. I'm not saying that she can beat Starts Now to the lead, but she's going to be a lot closer than she was in times past. Starts Now definitely ran well last time out. I really don't think that distance is a limitation for her. It's more about the competition.
Zion also should probably be up close. Want to let you know Luis Saez will be riding on the 6-horse here for the Michael McCarthy barn. There's the 5, as you were just talking about, Tiara Queen, and well beat going 6.5, but 6.5 1/4. Yeah, that's a big difference. In fact, this will be the first time they've tried it.
Yeah, she's on her toes, and I absolutely love that. But Pete, I think we both land on the favorite here, Kentucky Gal for Phil D'Amato. It's hard for me to say this because it's almost impossible. I'm a big fan. She didn't get the best of trips under Flavien Prat the last time. That's very hard for me to say. She was inside. I'm not saying she was going to beat the winner that day, but she didn't get the cleanest trip that you would have liked to have seen her. I believe she can move forward. You're getting Fresu. Obviously, Pratt in Kentucky just wrapped up the riding title. At Keeneland, she does draw inside again, but distance not going to be a problem. Kentucky Gal coming out of that March 30th race. The 2 Starts Now coming out of there. Esmeralda coming out of that March 30th race, along with Mizian, who's going to be a little bit closer with Saez aboard today.
Cerro Grande, the 3-horse for Mike Pipey, likes to get pieces. 2 for 19, 7 seconds and 2/3. 2 tries of the distance, 2 runner-up performances. Exotics, yes. I don't know. I mean, Pipey, having a great season, but it's still tough for me to put this horse on top.
She looked terrific coming over here. Gave her the best 10 out, the 6-year-old mare by Mr. Big, just 2 wins in 19 lifetime starts. She does have 7 seconds. You might want to use her underneath. Diego Herrera picks up the task today, and you've got to think maybe she needed that last start. Distance is her friend. She's in for the 50. She's run well going 1.25 miles. Hell, she's run well going 1.5 miles, Pete. So distance is most definitely her friend. It's just a question of how fast are they going to go or how slow are they going to go?
Michelle Yu will be handling the reporting for this afternoon. And, of course, Millie Ball out at the gate. Horses coming out on the track for the pick 5, 145,240 in the pool. That will continue to rise. On behalf of everyone here at First Racing, welcome to a Sunday at Santa Anita.
Forrest Powell brings the horses onto the track, filling in for Jay Cohen for the first race, named for Ron's Big Day. Number 6, Mizion. The jockey is Luis Saez. 9 minutes.
Trainer Mike Pipey has 2 horses in here. We'll start with the 3 Vincero Grande. This horse to me really seems like it wants the distance. You came back off with the layoff with a mile. Was that just because they don't run a lot of 10 furlong races?
Yeah, I was a little scared to go in the monoquarter off that long of a layoff. It's a long way to go when you've been off as long as she was. So we wanted something that could get her started. It's not like she hasn't ran okay at a mile before, but it's probably not her best distance. She does adore the distance. She likes to run marathon like this. So she fits running the monoquarter if I'm not running her back too quick today.
Now you also have the horse to the outside, Cheekiest, as well. And she does win at a mile, but she's the one that wound up in the 1.25 mile race last time. Was that just we need a spot to go in?
No, actually, me and the owner have been discussing. We've wanted to always go further. The problem is we ride just so many miles in California. We don't seem to get enough of the other kind of races. We've been waiting. And finally we ran through her easier conditions and waited to get into something further. And if you watch her race, she had some trouble on the turn and she still ran a very good race. So I thought the family bloodline runs long and we were ready to go long. So here we are.
Both of your horses come from a little bit off at the pace. Is there going to be enough of a setup for them?
Yeah, I don't know. Richie's going to be on the lead. I told him to make sure that my other horse, the 3, stays close enough to the pace so we have a chance that way.
I appreciate the time, Mike.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome to a Sunday afternoon of racing here at Santa Anita. I'm on the turf course. We're going to start at 1.25 miles for race number 1 for these fillies and mares. And the number 5 in here, just Tiara Queen, a little note on the side. She is going to load up with pads. Pads, if you're unfamiliar with them, they just go either side of the starting stall that the horse is entered into. And it just allows the horse to feel the pads as opposed to the metal sides of the gate. A lot of horses tend to get a little bit goosey in there. They get to feeling it and can skew around a little bit in the gate. So sometimes those pads just allow a horse to actually feel just a little bit more secure in there and comfortable in there. The number 1, Kentucky Gal, I thought looked extremely good galloping up. She came up here first with the pony, very focused alongside her company there. And her second place finish, you heard on the desk, Public Assembly came back to win the Royal Heroine. I went back and watched her start in that 1.25 mile race last time out, and I really did think it cost her lengths, that trouble that she had in having to wait until she came out. I arguably would say it cost her the win because she really was rolling, but definitely cost her the distance between Public Assembly and herself in the top 2 finishes that day. The number 2 starts now. Very happy to see the way she warmed up too. Very fluid mover. She was very comfortable jogging up the hill here with the pony. And I see her, I agree with Peter Lurie. I think she's the lone speed in here. And she's quick enough, I think, to actually separate herself from the rest of the field. So I would like to see Tiago Pereira utilize that early speed if she gets the good break and send her this afternoon at 1.25 miles. Looking forward to the horses coming up to the gate. They are facing it and they'll be loading momentarily. Our track announcer, as always, Frank Miramati.
It's post time. They're loading in the gate at Santa Anita Park. Izion coming up. Cheekiest will be the last one to load. We're in the gate. And they're off. Tiara Queen sprints away from the gate. Starts now, has some early interest. These two 1-2 as they cross the dirt and come back onto the main course. Just behind them, Esmeralda and Kentucky Gal in the white colors down at the rail. That group is followed by Vincero Grande racing inside Mizion, who's 7 lengths off the leader, and 2 more to Cheekiest. By the stands, Tiara Queen ensures a very honest tempo, strides 5 lengths clear. Starts now in second. Kentucky Gal and Esmeralda head and head with Mizion outside of them. Vincero Grande, purple colors, more than 10 off this leader, and Cheekiest. Into the first turn, Tiara Queen, the long shot, continues to sprint along, very ambitious. 8, 9, 10 length lead now, which starts now in second. They're followed by Esmeralda. Down at the rail, Fresu and Kentucky Gal racing in fourth. Another 2 back to Mizion in the yellow colors inching up, Vincero Grande and Cheekiest. They're heading to the half-mile pole behind Tiara Queen, whose lead is 6 or 7 now. With starts now second throughout. Esmeralda third. Kentucky Gal, Mizion side by side, the two favorites, 2 lengths clear of Vincero Grande. And Cheekiest continues at the back of the field. Tiara Queen's lead diminishing with every stride. Starts now, the first to take game second. Esmeralda, Kentucky Gal at the rail, has some run, just needs room and a plan at this stage. Outside of her comes Mizion. Mizion hard-ridden, trying to get by Kentucky Gal. 4 clear of Vincero Grande and Cheekiest. They're at the top of the stretch, and Kentucky Gal swings out and pounces on Starts Now. Who's the new leader? Starts Now, running well, though. It Starts Now, Kentucky Gal. These two head and head for the wire, and Kentucky Gal surges past under a picture-perfect ride from Antonio Fresu to win convincingly. Starts Now second. It's a 3-way photo for third. Vincero Grande, Cheekiest, and Esmeralda. One, Kentucky Gal was first. 2, Starts Now second. It's a photo for third. In the winner's circle, Kentucky Gal, a 4-year-old brown filly by Churchill out of Hold Me Now, owned by CYBT, Netwig Pagano et al., trained by Phil D'Amato and ridden by Antonio Fresu. Kentucky Gal was bred in Ireland by Newstead Breeding LLC, running time 201.93 seconds. In the second, early pick 4 wagering is offered. Scratch number 7, 6 of 7 hoof. And they're off. Tiara Queen sprints away from the gate. Starts now, has some early interest. These two 1-2 as they cross the dirt and come back onto the main course. Just behind them, Esmeralda and Kentucky Gal in the white colors down at the rail. That group is followed by Vincero Grande racing inside Mizion, who's 7 lengths off the leader, and 2 more to Cheekiest. By the stands, Tiara Queen ensures a very honest tempo, strides 5 lengths clear. Starts now in second. Kentucky Gal and Esmeralda head and head with Mizion outside of them. Vincero Grande, purple colors, more than 10 off this leader, and Cheekiest. Into the first turn, Tiara Queen, the long shot, continues to sprint along. Very ambitious. 8, 9, 10 length lead now, which starts now in second. They're followed by Esmeralda. Down at the rail, Fresu and Kentucky Gal racing in fourth. Another 2 back to Mizion in the yellow colors, inching up Vincero Grande and Cheekiest. They're heading to the half-mile pole behind Tiara Queen, whose lead is 6 or 7 now. With starts now second throughout. Esmeralda third, Kentucky Gal, Mizion side by side, the 2 favorites, 2 lengths clear of Vincero Grande, and Cheekiest continues at the back of the field. Tiara Queen's lead diminishing with every stride. Starts now, the first to take aim second. Esmeralda, Kentucky Gal at the rail, has some run, just needs room and a plan at this stage. Outside of her comes Mizion. Mizion hard-ridden, trying to get by Kentucky Gal. 4 clear of Vincero Grande and Cheekiest. They're at the top of the stretch, and Kentucky Gal swings out and pounces on Starts Now, who's the new leader. Starts Now, running well, though. It Starts Now, Kentucky Gal. These two head and head for the wire, and Kentucky Gal surges past under a picture-perfect ride from Antonio Fresu to win convincingly. Starts Now second. It's a 3-way photo for third. Vincero Grande, Cheekiest, and Esmeralda.
It's in our very nature to find exhilaration in the new, to seek the excitement of the unexpected, an endless yearning to experience what lies beyond the everyday.
The first coast-to-coast Pick 5.
An attractive Pick 5 sequence featuring Gulfstream Park.
And Santa Anita Park. Player-friendly 15% takeout.
A $1 minimum.
Big pool. Huge payout. First coast-to-coast Pick 5. Every Friday through Sunday.
Fifteen minutes out to the second to kick off the early Pick 4. Welcome back, everybody. Maiden claim in 20 here, going 5.5 furlongs. Courtesy of our partners over at First TV, we have ourselves a workout. This is the 5-horse Torleaf for Karen Headley.
And I thought this was a very good work to show because you can just see how tenacious this 5-year-old gelding by Cyclotron is. Working with Seattle Surf on the outside, that's him down on the inside. Check out the final time. That's Sofia Banderella aboard this gelding. Now, he's been running over at Los Al, his last start in February, been freshened since. Sofia taking this horse well off the rail. I mean, he's not lugging out. He's going perfectly straight. She just steered him out there. And the thing that I like is his tenacity, Pete. Here, it looks like Seattle Surf is just going to cruise on by. Obviously, they're supposed to stay together, but this little guy's not getting beat down on the inside. Sofia does get on with horses. He sticks his neck in front and gallops out very nicely. So it just piqued my interest just enough. He comes in with back-to-back works, 47-3 and 47-4. So I thought a good work for the level.
It's an interesting race from a pace standpoint, Zoe. I mean, you're looking at a lot of these horses. Obviously, they can change coming down the level. I mean, but for me, it's like, Hot Tiger Nights here for Ryan Hansen probably will be the horse that gets early speed. It's a tough one to find. Soul Music might also, but your guess is as good as mine.
My guess is Hot Tiger Nights. I watched that work 47-2 on the 10th of April. He came out like a rocket and was sent the whole way. You're getting the same rider that worked him in that race. Adrian Escobedo aboard this 3-year-old colt by Conquest Fahrenheit. Claimed for 50 last time, in for the 20. That probably should tell you just about everything you need to know there. But he's got speed, and speed is dangerous in these lower level climbing races.
Especially going 5.5 furlongs.
Soul Music on the outside has got speed as well, should he choose to use it. That was going 2 turns, but coming off of that race and backing up in distance, drawn on the outside with the Bug Boy. Even if he doesn't have speed, I think they might try and send him as hard and as fast as he can possibly go.
I agree.
Which might give him the first call.
Horses coming out, the current pick 4 pool, $30,328. Looking at the field here, Unbreakable Trust, the 4 even money favorite here for John Sadler. First time they're going to be at the $20,000 marker. That race was not bad on April 4th here. They were about 3/4 length in front of the third horse in a field of 10. I think the horse makes sense. I don't know if I'd take even money, though, in this field.
I've got this horse underneath, the Son of Accelerate. That was a very encouraging race for 32. Now in for the 20. Good luck to Katie Jones's Desert Sun Stables. She owns part of this one. I wish she was here. She's probably in Kentucky right now. But Katie, a very good friend of ours. So wishing her the best of luck with the 4. Unbreakable Trust. Definitely got some moxie there, but I picked the 6 on top. I thought this horse actually might be the favorite for Rolando Quinones. A half to a couple of stakes winners. 1 on dirt, which is very, very encouraging. The Damn Devoted one was actually 2nd on debut for Phil D'Amato, of all things. And that's all she did. But she has thrown a couple of stakes winners on dirt. When you're looking at a horse coming in that has only ever run on turf, that to me was very, very important. So I like Adebayo in here for Rolando Quinones.
You know what? And I can see where you're going with that. And I did put this horse in the top 4, but I'm taking a big swing here. 13-1 on the rail trip. They're not like us for Peter Miller. Yes, this horse has not run since December 15th, but I always love this angle. The horse was well meant by the public. Obviously, antsy, floated out on the turn was the comment line. Has an excuse. I would have preferred if the horse would have come back a little quicker, but I think this horse is very, very interesting, and William Anton Georgie gets the call.
Is that your top pick?
Yes, it is.
Oh, well done. They're not like us for Peter Miller. I'll tell you, he's bouncing around the parade ring down here. That is the 8 Hot Tiger Nights for Ryan Hansen. I like that. He looks terrific. We've got Adrian legged up on him there. Adrian all smiles. Perhaps he can sing us a song a little bit later on. But this horse is walking out like he means business.
He channels his best Vicente Fernandez.
Exactly. Just in case anyone's wondering what we're talking about, Adrian Escobedo is a mariachi singer and a very good one at that. He's got a fabulous voice.
I had him sing one night on the last race, and they said, do you want the microphone close? And he went, no. And
no,
you
he's
knew
loud. Yeah, he's very good.
10 minutes to post for race number 2, the pick 4 pull of 38,254. Good luck.
On the track for the second, name for Linda Muro's memorial race, scratch number 7, 6 of 7 hoof, 9 minutes.
Tour Leaf is saddled by Karen Headley, but in her stead today is Berkeley Headley. And I want to talk about this horse because that last race at Los Alamitos was actually a much improved effort than we've seen from him before. Has he just kind of turned a page as he's 5 now?
Yeah, he continues to improve a little bit. I mean, he's one of those horses in the morning where he trains really well. He has good fast times. He jogs, gallop. He's like a really happy horse. So we're hoping he can keep going in that steady climb.
I saw the workout as well. Zoe showed one of his recent drills, so we'll see if he can't turn the page. But I also want to talk about yesterday when we had smooth cruising with a very impressive victory here. How did he come out of the race, and what are the plans going to be for him?
Yeah, he came out really nice. Everything felt good. He was happy in the stall. As of now, we don't know any specific plans. We're just going to see how he trains and then work him towards what we think is the right spot for him.
All right, well, congratulations on yesterday and best of luck here.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, we go from a mile and a quarter on the turf to 5.5 furlongs now on the dirt for race number 2. These are maiden claimers, and they're in for $20,000. Now, the number 4, Unbreakable Trust, looked as a favorite. So good. Just really